I think a big thing that makes top players good is and this is for every game, the concept of risk reward. I think the concept of risk reward is lost on a lot of people.
Also, if you don't make a video called the risk reward ratio, I'm gonna be mad at you. That's such a good
Oh no,
title.
I will.
All
I
right,
will.
that's such a good
I
title.
will. I will. I will. I will.
All right, all right.
What is risk reward? Risk reward is when you take an action that can be unsuccessful, which is the risk, but if the action is successful, then it results in a reward. So where does the ratio come in? The most simple comparison is when you bet on something. If you bet $1 on something with 1-to-1 odds, then you either lose $1 or you gain $1. Thus the ratio is 1-to-1. Likewise, if you bet $500, a bigger risk, with 1-to-1 odds, then you either gain 500, a bigger reward, or lose 500, but the risk reward ratio is still 1-to-1. If the odds are higher and you have 10-to-1 odds and you bet $500, then the ratio is 10-to-1 and you can potentially gain $450,000 or lose 500. That ratio is more in your favor, and that is a bet most people would take because of the better ratio of the lower risk and higher reward, but it's slightly deeper than that. Usually, when odds are given to someone, it's because the likelihood of something happening is so low that it feels almost impossible. Now, if all you have is $500 to your name, then it's probably not worth the risk to potentially make the $450,000 if the likelihood is very low. Conversely, someone with $1 million may see the $500 very differently. That's the important part to understand about risk reward. If you had to bet on me and 4 of my friends versus the Los Angeles Lakers in a pickup game of basketball, who are you taking? Obviously, me and my friends have no chance of beating the Lakers, so you're taking the Lakers, or at least I would hope. But what if you were given 1 million to 1 odds? You'd only pay $1, but you have a chance to receive 1 million. Would you take the bet? Again, I would hope not, because you would just lose $1. And that's where most people mess up measuring risk reward. It's not just trying to figure out the best ratio for you, but also figuring out the likelihood of the event happening while taking into account your current stock. Now, the likelihood differs from player to player, and figuring that out is part of the conditioning and adapting process. One of the most important parts of the concept is to assess the rewards that you may get from an action, but also the rewards that an opponent may get from your risk. After all, Smash is player versus player, and there's someone else on the other side also assessing their risk reward ratio. The reason you see top players feeling things out at the beginning of the match and taking it slower is that taking committal actions with very little knowledge may lead to bigger risks. Let's look at how Teaser is playing this game. He's not taking any big risks and understand his win conditions. Roy is much better as a close range character due to his better frame data, good hitboxes, high damaging combos, and a lack of a projectile. Samus, on the other hand, is much more suited to play a keep away game due to multiple projectiles and large mid-range hitboxes and a lack of close boxing options. So how does Samus win? Well, keep Roy away and don't engage in close quarters combat unless he notices Roy do an unsafe move on a shield and uses up B to get Roy off of him, then reset to playing the zoning game. Then, the goal is to get Roy off stage where he's weaker and edgeguard or ledge trap him, one of Samus's biggest strengths. There have been plenty of opportunities for Teaser to go for riskier dash attacks, bears, and other moves that lead to immediate rewards, but again, Teaser knows that also gives Cheeks more opportunity for reward, so he focuses on what gives him the best possible ratio of low risk and high reward. The highest reward is taking the stock and winning the game, but the risk of interacting with Roy also gives Roy a higher chance to win, so how can you take Roy's stock with minimal risk? By staying mobile, whiff punishing, landing projectiles, and setting up ledge traps where there is minimal chance for Roy to get any sort of reversals. The biggest risk he takes closing out the game is when he goes off stage for an edge guard when he recognizes he has an opportunity for it, but it doesn't pan out. On the other side, they had played 6 games in a row at this point, so he recognized the risk wasn't too high because he had been getting off the ledge very frequently despite Roy's very good ledge trapping. Unfortunately, there's one really hard part of measuring risk reward, and that is you have to have the knowledge to know how risky something is, and even more so, how likely something is to happen. Don't be discouraged if you thought you gauged it accurately and you were wrong. Just take it as a learning experience and try to consider what you just learned the next time you're in the same situation. It's important to put a conscious effort into learning as much as you can about each situation and try to learn what every action's risk and reward is. Now, this concept may sound really simple, but everything is happening, changing so rapidly that it can be hard to keep up. But don't worry, you'll get it over time. The more you practice it, the more solid and clean your gameplay will be, and the less you'll be saying to yourself, why did I go for that? Thanks for watching. Until next time.